Black isn't just one thing. We are a beautiful, cultural, intelligent, worldly people. Why not celebrate all that we are as opposed to only seeing us in one light? Because that's what's comfortable and that's what you've been taught to see us as.
Hello everybody, it's Kalen Allen. Here we are. Happy Saturday, OMKalen, yes! Now today I'm so excited because we're going to do a very special episode. We are once again going to celebrate the holiday known as Juneteenth with two very good friends of mine. Please welcome to the OMKalen stage, my friends, one and only, the stylist, the designer, tie hunter, and pop icon, Vincent. Hello, darlings, how are you?
Hey, Kalen.
Hi.
I brought you here because last year for OMKalen, I did a conversation to honor Juneteenth, which is today. I did a panel with Angelica Ross and DeRay McKesson where we talked about the intersectionality of being Black and queer and what that means for our liberation. And so for this year, I thought it would be nice to bring different Black queer men that are from different generations to have a discussion. So I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being here. My first question is, when did you first realize that you were living in the intersectionality of being Black and queer?
It hit me like way before I even knew who I was. Even before my first sexual experience, I was called gay, especially by my people, simply because I was different. Do I prove them wrong or do I just live my truth? I was raised by my mom, single parent, and my dad was in my life, but I was like anti-sports. I preferred to be with the women in my life. I'm originally from Austin, Texas, so that speaks for itself. Austin is a beautiful place, but you know, especially when I was growing up, it was so segregated. When I got to high school, they started, you know, the different cultures started coming. So it was a pretty much mixed school. I was very popular and, you know, thank God, like my cousin was like the top quarterback, and then I had a cousin who was the lead. So I had older people that were in the high school that was like, you good? So I had protection.
Listen, okay.
I had protection and I had people watching me, but at the same time, thank God I had thick skin. I feel like once you start living in your truth and being who you are authentically, people just fall back that needs to fall back and people just respect you.
I think it became apparent to me when I was maybe around 9 or 10 and I was playing with kids from my neighborhood and they kind of tried to put their insecurities on me and told me who I was before I had said it to myself. Like I always knew that I was a little bit different and that was fine with me because I grew up in a household where my parents didn't really put in the forefront my sexuality. It was more so grow up and whoever you turn out to be is who you are. I grew up in Northern Philadelphia and you went to Temple, so you know what Philadelphia is. It's a little bit different now because it's been, Temple is everywhere and all the and gentrified and all the girls are there and they think that this is like the suburbs. Honey, you were in the hood. This is North Philly, 3rd and 3rd and Diamond. So I grew up in a predominantly Black community and there were plenty of gay people in my community. It was just a part of the community, you know, like you'd see someone, they weren't bullied, but you'd see someone, they were the joke. Weird to see that, but like also not be able to say, don't say that because I was afraid of like having it come on me as a kid, but I wasn't really worried about people doing anything to me. I also had 4 sisters and 3 brothers. I probably wouldn't need to get in the fight. It would probably be my siblings to do it for me. But middle school was Catholic and then I went to an all boys Catholic high school and it was predominantly white. This mouth has gotten me through a lot of things because I was quick. I could stop you with words before you even decided to go to physical things. Because as much as people love to fight, you're not gonna hit me. I got a lot of stuff going on with this face. You just can't do it. Show them that you can sing. I use those as my weapons, being quick and using my talent, and it kind of got me through high school, but I learned a lot about myself in those 4 years.
Anytime I do any interview and someone asks me, well, how did you become so funny? You know, or where does your comedy stem from? I'm always like, it's a defense mechanism. It was like, when I was growing up, I grew up in Kansas City, Kansas. It's probably one of the most conservative places on earth. As long as I could entertain people, as long as I could make them laugh, they left me alone. We are all in this industry. Is there any experience that you felt that your intersectionality of both has hindered you or held you back from being able to achieve what you want? Or have you felt like it's taking you longer? And Ty, we cannot do this without noting the fact that you are the iconic trailblazer and stylist of the one and the only Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter. I think that has to be known by everybody. So I'm really interested to know how you navigated that space, especially with such an icon, and figuring out your own identity within that.
I remember Beyonce's band used to be an all-male band, and you know, we were on tour, and like some of the security guards and stuff, the guys one day, they came up, they was like, Ty, you know what? I was homophobic until I met you. You kind of helped me, you know, see past this. I just feel like if you're comfortable in your skin, nothing else should matter around you. When I truly learned to just live in this thing and just be myself, I talk about gay pride. It's a pride that you have to get to a place of just like, forget everybody else. I'm living my truth.
I'm pretty confident as I walk around, and I know what I want and I know what I say, but it wasn't always that way because I have a high-pitched voice and I'm really thin and I am flamboyant, and there was no way for me to hide that because that's the package I came in. And having a mother who was so insistent on, when you leave this house, don't let anyone tell you who you are. I raised you, you know who you are, go out there and be that. Because you being uncomfortable about who I am is a personal problem, and I can't help you with that. But I have many therapists who can help you with your issue, you know? And so I thank God for my parents, because it's just, I got lucky in the sense of who I was surrounded with.
Even with my mother, when coming out, it was definitely a journey for us. It was very much, Kalen is Kalen, and Kalen will always be Kalen, and that's who I love, that's who I support. And so I never thought about changing who I was. She had already affirmed that who I was enough. A lot of times when it comes to history in general, Black queer people are left out of the narrative. They are left out of history. And that is why I think it's so important to have these conversations, because there's a lot of, well, this is what Black is, and this is how you should act, this is what you should like, this is the type of music you should listen to. So this question is for Vincent. Did you ever feel that in your music expression that either you weren't Black enough, and did you struggle with finding the balance in that?
I've never struggled with what I like and how I like to sound. I grew up listening to my father's band make beautiful harmonies. They were called the Christ United Gospel Singers. They rehearsed in my living room every Thursday afternoon at 5. That is where I come from. I fell in love with pop music, and then it became a problem. It took me a long time to convince my family that I was good at it, because they thought that I was trying to be white. Why does something that's popular only belong to white people? Why is that the mindset? Even recently, I had a Black journalist say to me, it just feels like you're not being Black enough with your art. What does Black mean to you, if not excellence, in every category that you step into? I am really good at what I do, and I'm Black doing it. Why is that not enough for some? More than anything, I crave validation from our people more than anyone else. And I know for any little Black boy who gets into any part of this industry, it's what they want more than anything. And whenever I hear someone Black put someone else Black down, it hurts a little bit more than when a white person does it. It breaks my heart. And I always wonder, why is not living in my Blackest truth and doing whatever it is I love to do, why is that not enough? Black isn't just one thing. We are a beautiful, cultural, intelligent, worldly people. Why not celebrate all that we are as opposed to only seeing us in one light? Because that's what's comfortable and that's what you've been taught to see us as.
Now, one thing that I find interesting about us three is, according to the internet, I am Gen Z, and then Ty, you are Gen X, and then Vincent, you are Millennial. And I think one thing that I have learned as far as having conversations with other people like us, the biggest thing that probably happened that really made our experiences different was the HIV/AIDS epidemic. So if we had to put it into like a timeline, then Ty is season 1 of Pose, Vincent is season 2, and I'm season 3 of Pose. So you know, the times have changed. So I wanna know, as queer people, when the world was learning about this disease that they wanted to call at that time the gay disease, how did people treat you? What was that experience? How was it different from as time went on?
It was a terrible, terrible time. I lost a lot of friends. When I finally started living my truth and came out, there were people that were close to me. I had my godson, his mother was like, I had, my son around you. People automatically put AIDS with gay, put AIDS with being Black and gay, and I was all of the above because, the highest statistics were people of color at the time. And even with loved ones who cared so much about me, the first thing they would pop up was like, you could catch AIDS. Like, why would you want to even play with this choice of, thinking it's a choice and all of that stuff. So it was really, really a hard time. But, I thank God I made it through. And, because it was so many casualties. I lost a lot of close people.
The epidemic itself primarily affected Black and Latin communities. When it came to medicine, a lot of times you talk about the medication, you talk about the trials, that we weren't even accepted into those, and I don't think people understand the trauma of that. And that also then packing on top of that, the homophobia itself.
It poisoned their minds about who we were as a people. And I'm just now in the last 5 years progressing the way that I think on gay sex and what being gay means and what that means for me and how I can love someone and how I can love someone who is HIV positive. It stunted a lot of people, myself included, and I think had it been taught that it didn't make the person a bad person or some kind of carrier of death.
As queer people, we actually spend our entire lives trying to unlearn who we are because so much of us has been created by our trauma.
It took me a long time to like who I was. It took me a long time to like how gay I was. It took me a long time to like how dark I was. If I never win a Grammy, if I never make it to the success that I want to make it to, I've done enough. I made people happy. I had people come up to me at my shows and tell me I helped them through a hard time in their life. It sounds cheesy, but that is the stuff that keeps you alive. That stuff has carried me through so many depressing states. I'm so lucky to be able to do what I do. I'm lucky to be able to sit in a hotel room and have this conversation on Zoom with you and Ty. I never thought I'd be able to do something like this. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm like, I made it. This is it. You know what I mean? I'm that girl. So if anything else happens, it's just a luxury. Speak to yourself the way that you speak about your idols. Because we don't put limitations on the people we admire. We think they can do anything. They can accomplish anything. Yeah. When we talk about Beyonce, we're always like, she can do anything. She rules. Because we don't see limits for her. And I always wonder, why don't we talk to ourselves that way?
Right.
And so now I do it. Before people would go, you're being cocky. And I was like, no, I don't. You misunderstand. I didn't say I was better than you. I just said I was great. If that makes you feel inferior, then you have work to do on you.
Absolutely.
I don't think I'm better than you. I will never say that I'm better than you because I don't think that. I think I worked really hard to be good at what I think I'm really good at. I would love for you to feel the same way because it feels amazing. And it's not an everyday thing, it's a work in progress. I work at this every day. That's not your responsibility to live up to people's standards.
And now the final question I want to ask you is when it comes to being Black and queer, and you think back at younger you, if you could tell them or say anything to them to where you are today and what you have accomplished and the things that you have seen and the things that you have done, what would you tell them?
Put yourself first. My happiness a lot of times is by making other people happy. And that's what fills me, blessing other people. It took a while, but that's the only thing. I wouldn't change anything else, but just learning to put myself first, making sure that Ty is okay before anyone else. Tyrone, actually, if we're gonna go back there to the younger days.
Amen.
But that's it.
I think I'd tell little me to let go a little bit more. Don't be so afraid to dance in that crowd or in that room of people, or don't be so nervous that people are gonna think something about you, because chances are they aren't. And even if they are, it doesn't matter. feel the moments and enjoy it all. Because yes, there are great things coming, but you deserve to feel that then. Feel it.
I think I would tell myself, I am a firm believer that every step of the journey is necessary. It may not make sense, but at every moment, every trial, every tribulation is worth it in order for you to become who you are.
Yes.
And with that being said, thank you so much, Vincent and Ty, for joining me today. This has been an absolutely wonderful conversation. My heart is very much filled with joy. It's everything that I wanted it to be. Everybody, happy Juneteenth. I'm Kalen Allen, and once again, and always, I'm just happy to be here.